in his service. So Lakshman, he was the greatest assistant for Lord Rama. His business is to serve Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu. He's always, he has a nice snake bed, and on the bed, Lord Vishnu is lying, very peaceful. Is it not? You see those pictures? He's lying. So when there is a discrepancy, when there is a disturbance in this world, by the demoniac force, when they become more prominent in this world, they become more powerful. So at that time, headed by Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, all the demigods, they go to the Kshirsagar, the shore of Kshirsagar. They cannot go exactly inside the Kshirsagar because Lord Vishnu is residing there. So they stay by the shore of Kshirsagar and they pray for Lord to appear. So whenever there is a calamities, whenever there is a disturbance, whenever there is a hindrance to the religiosity, when religion becomes more prominent and religious goes down, at that time the demigods headed by Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, they go to the Svetaswarup, where Lord Vishnu is residing within this universe. They go and pray there for the descendants of the Lord. Just like in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, he clearly says, Jada jada hi dharmasya glani bhavati bharata abhuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijammanam. And for what purpose he comes? He comes to paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya duskitam dharmo sanasthapanarthayam sambhavami juge. He comes every juga he comes to uplift the human society from the fallen stage. He comes to establish religiosity and to annihilate the irreligiosity, to annihilate the miscreants or those who are demoniac. There are two types of living entity in this world we see all the time, demigods and demons. So there is always clash between the demigods and the demons. Demons who do not follow the religiosity or who is not abided by the rules and regulations which is given by God, and the demigods, they always follow the rules and regulations which is given by God. So that's why they are demigods. So if you are a human being, and if you follow the rules and regulations which is given by God to us, then we are also equal to demigods. But if you do not follow the rules and regulations which is given by God to us, then we are not demigods. Then what we are demons. So these are the two living entities are there. So that's why there is always a clash between the demons and the demigods. So when there is the demoniac forces, they become more powerful than the demigods, and they start hindering the sadhu, saintly people, and innocent people. Just like we see in Russia, there is a war going on, not in Ukraine, there is a war going on, and so many innocent people are getting killed. Is it not? Unnecessarily they are killing so many innocent people. Why they have to do that? Because they say, oh, this is war, so we don't know who's who, so we kill everyone. But you're not supposed to do that. So the demoniac forces, when they take power, what they do, they start terrorizing innocent people. And they start terrorizing also religiosity, especially the cows and the Brahmins. So what happens? So when you start terrorizing this type of people, then God cannot tolerate. Neither the earthly planet, the Bhumi Devi, she cannot also tolerate. So what she does, she cannot take the burden of these unwanted people, so that she approaches the head of the demigod, which is Lord Brahma. She goes there and she approaches Lord Brahma, Indra, because they don't have the power to establish religion. So they take the help of Lord Shiva and they go to Kshirsagar to approach God, approach Lord Krishna to come appear. So you see these pictures in the back. There is a nice, beautiful picture. You see Matsya Avatara, Kurma Avatara, Vara Avatara, Nrsimha, Vamana, then Pushuram, Then you see there is also Sitaram, and there is Sitaram is there. Then there is Krishna, there is a Buddha, and there is on the top, you see, on the right, there is a Kalki Avatar yet to come. So Lord Ram came after Pushuram. Pushuram came before Lord Ramachandra. And Lord Ram came actually to establish religiosity. Because the predominant of this earthly planet became full of irreligiosity. So he came to establish religion. And especially demons like Ravana, Kumbhakarna, there are other demons. They were penetrating all over the universe with their demoniac forces, and they were terrorizing all the innocent people and the saintly people, and the demigods. So then, who can deal with it? Without God, without Krishna, who can deal with this? So God, He came, Krishna comes. But main reasons of His coming here, according to our Goswamis, that main reasons of Krishna's coming to this earthly planet is to have wonderful pastimes, which we can narrate and recite, so that devotees will be happy, and many people can come in Krishna consciousness and take this happiness. That is the most important reason. And that is the mukha reason of Lord Krishna's appearance in different incarnations. And the gauna reason, the external reasons of Krishna's coming to this earthly planet is to establish religiosity and to analyze the mysteries. So Lord Ramachandra appeared, and he, at that time, the process of yoga, the process of attaining God, was through the process of sacrifices. Like in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a beautiful verse describing what are the four yuga cycle and what are the way you can achieve God. So in Satya Yuga it says, Kritte Jodhayatu Vishnum Tritayam Jajato Mukhai Dapare Paricharjayam Kalota Dharisankirtana. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is saying that in Kritte, in the Satya Yuga, the process of attaining God was through the process of dhyana, yoga, meditation. The people used to live for 100,000 years. So they could go and meditate for several thousands of years, like Vishwamitra Muni, we find in the scriptures, in the Purana, we find that he meditated for 60,000 years. So he could do that because the duration of the human being was 100,000 years. But as the ages are going down by down, the ages of the humanity also going down. So when Lord Ramachandra appeared, at that time the duration of the human being was how many years? Who knows? 10,000 years. 10,000 years. That means 90% of the duration of life is gone. Only to get 10,000 years, only people could live. So at that time the process was you could achieve God through the process of yajna, fire sacrifices. Fire sacrifice means you do Ashwamedha yajna, Gomedha yajna, Rajasuya yajna, all this big sacrifice, because at that time people had money, they had a lot of wealth, there was a suitable brahmanas, efficient brahmanas who could do all these rituals. But nowadays we don't have that, so we cannot do. That's why in Kali Yuga, these Ashwamedha yajna, Gomedha yajna, Rajasuya sacrifices, these are all prohibited. Only Sankirtan yajna is recommended. So then, after comes, then Dwapar Yuga. Dwapar Yuga duration of life, humanity life was only 1,000 years. So that means another 90% from the 10,000, 90% is gone. Only 10% is there. Only 1,000 years. So at that time people could achieve God through the worship of the deities. They used to have big temples and elaborate deity worship with gold and silver and all kinds of opulence worship. Nice food stuff was offered to the Lord. Nowadays you don't find such opulence. People don't have so much gold, so much diamonds and rubies and all this. They don't have that. So we don't have that elaborate worship. But in those days people used to have, and they could do that. They would go to their nice temples and they would have elaborate worship of the deities. And then comes now whatever the age that we are in, what is called? Kali Yuga. And the duration of Kali Yuga for the humanity is only 100 years. 100 years. And the recommended process for this age is Sankirtan. Kalo Sankirtanam. In Kali Yuga, the process of attaining God is Sankirtan. So, we are very fortunate fortunate that Lord Krishna, he has come just 500 years back. Lord Krishna, the Supreme Person of Godhead, he was just here, just 500 years ago, nothing, not too long ago. Even Bhaskara, Grammar, big, these noble people, they were there also at that time. So it's not too long. Even if you read the history and the modern society, if you read the history, you'll find so many people has come. But I don't know whether in that history Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's name is mentioned. But in the Bhagavata Purana, in the Kalikalpana, in the Kalvishwada Purana, all these things are mentioned, that how Lord Krishna appeared with combine of Radha and Krishna as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, just 500 years. So he has distributed, and he asked everyone to chant Hare Krishna mantra. So that's what he was doing. So when you are chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So that mantra, the meaning of this mantra means, oh energy of God, please engage me in your service. Please engage me. We are all looking for some job, we are all looking for some service, some duties. When we perform our duties nicely, when we perform some seva, we become really happy. Whether it's the material duties or spiritual duties, but we get some happiness. Otherwise, how we are continuing with it? So everyone is looking for some work, some service. But if we can motivate or if we can dovetail that service towards God, then we will be able to get real happiness in our life. So that's how so service is most important. It doesn't matter how small the service is or how big the service is, but the service can attract the attention of Krishna or Lord Rama. In the time of Lord Ramachandra, Hanuman was doing so much service. He was bringing a big mountain in order to build a bridge and putting on the ocean. But there was a scrople, and he was bringing a little sand, and Hanuman said, "Get away from my way. You are such a small being, why are you stopping my way?" And he came and complained to Lord Ramachandra, and Ramachandra called Hanuman. He said, "Your seva, I also accept, but I am also accepting his service too. Whatever capacity he has is performing, so I am accepting that much. And whatever capacity I gave you, and you are doing that much." So he equally thanked both of them for their service. So service is very important. Whether service can be rendered in three ways: Kaya, Mano, Vakya. You can speak about Krishna, that is the Vakya Seva. Kaya means you can use your body to serve Krishna. Kaya, Man, you can also serve Krishna through your mind. So there are so many ways you can serve Krishna. So nobody should be deprived from the service of the Lord, because service will make us happy. Devotions are very important. So Lord Ramachandra, when he was in the material world, when he was in this world, he was actually he was playing the part of a real ideal king. He was a real ideal king. In his kingdom, everybody was happy. All the citizens were very happy. Everybody was following the religiosity. So that's why Prabhupada mentioned in the purport, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, that during the time of Lord Ram, even though Lord Ram was present in the age of Treta Yuga, but because of the presence of Lord Rama, because of his skillful duties as a king, and the citizens were all performing all religiosity, they were all following all the rules and regulations of religion, so they could feel the vibration of Satyuga at that time. So Prabhupada said this is also possible in the Kali Yuga also. If you all chant Hare Krishna together and we all serve Krishna, this is also possible to bring Satyuga even in this age of fallen age. So it's very important that we observe this, especially these occasions of appearance of Lord Ramachandra, appearance of Lord Krishna, appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We follow them very nicely and pull our with full attention. When we fast, generally some people I know they fast until 8 o'clock at night. They fast from water even. After the sunset they eat. But we recommend at least to fast until noon. Generally because Lord Ramachandra appeared during the noon hours. So we just pray to Lord Ram in his appearance day that we can serve him more and more and we can remain the devotee of Krishna. Because if you want to attain love for Krishna, The only way to achieve love of Krishna is through the process of chanting Hare Krishna mantra. There is no other way. So, Vaibhav Prabhu, can you bring one of those boards from there?
Which one?
The first one from the right side. So, we are having a big festival. It's coming on the... First of all, I'd like to ask any questions. Anybody has any questions? Anyone who came here the first time to this temple? Okay. Anybody has any question? Will you add anything? Otherwise, I will go and announce a few things and then we'll go to Prashad.
This one?
Yes. Yeah. That is the first one from the right side?
Yeah.
So we'll be doing this, we'll be launching also in the evening, but I'm launching in the morning hours. So before we launch, you should take the blessings of Lord Ramachandra, is it not? So then we just want to repeat the pranam mantra of Lord Ramachandra again, and you can repeat after me. Namo Ramachandraya Kausalya Nandanaya Dasharatha Kumaraya Sita Kanta Namaste. So we are having a generally 3 years we could not do Ratha Yatra festival. 3 years because of pandemic we couldn't do it. But this year and our GBC members they are asking that we should do the Ratha Yatra this year. So the management has taken the initiative to have a Ratha Yatra this year. We are planning, just now we had a meeting, myself and the temple president, we had a meeting that we are going to do Ratha Yatra this year in downtown. We are eventually before we were planning to do Ratha Yatra from temple to Little 5 Point. But then we are thinking because the weather is very nice and the corona is going down, so we'll have a Ratha Yatra in downtown this year also, and we're trying to have 3 Ratha Yatra. So you know that to have such a big festival, we have there's a lot of seva to be committed, and so we are asking people to do some seva for the Ratha Yatra. So generally we have on the Ratha Yatra day we have is a prasadam distribution. Then we feed like almost 3,000 people on those 3 days. Only Ratha Yatra day we feed almost 2,000 people. That means we have to serve prasadam because Ratha Yatra goes to downtown. So this year we are trying to unite with the March of Unity and Iskcon Ratha Yatra together so that we can have a big parade in downtown by the Olympic Park. So we'll have a big parade. So as person we are expecting almost throughout the day and the night, almost 2,000 to 3,000 people on that day to take prasad. So if somebody wants to do some seva for prasadam, so you can do. There is, I think, what is this? There is a breakfast seva, there is a lunch and dinner seva is there. So the Ratha Yatra day, I think we are almost going to have to spend like $5,000 for the prasadam because there is so much increase of the bhoga, the ingredients have become increased, all these grocery things because of the pandemic, I think. So that's why we are asking people to support this festival. We're going to continuously approach people, our devotees, myself, we're going to be approaching a lot of devotees. So do not get disappointed. This is a service that we like to have done for the year. This is the biggest festival for this temple for the year. And we're going to do this very vigorously so that the city of Atlanta can recognize this festival. Generally we invite sometimes city mayor, sometimes you can see there are governors, they have sent the letters how they appreciated this festival. So we really want to ask support from the devotees. So if anybody wants to do some seva, you can choose and you can write your name. I think Ramesh Patilji, you want to sponsor some seva, yes?
Yes, lunchtime.
He wants to sponsor lunch for the, I think, Friday lunch.
Friday lunch.
Yes. What's his name? Ramesh Patilji and family. So let's give a round of applause for Ramesh Kachaji. Anyone wants to do some seva? Or you can, yes. Saturday dinner. What's your good name?
Naresh Punjabi.
Naresh Punjabi. Let's give a round of applause for Naresh Punjabi. Anyone else want to do some seva for Rath Yatra? This is the first time we are starting after 3 years for the Rath Yatra. So we're going to do also in the evening on Sunday also. So if you are here, you can also do at that time. Or we have also put the form there. You can take the form and you can send by mail also. There's all the seva opportunities are there. And we also need a lot of volunteers because no festival can be accommodated without volunteers and seva opportunities given to the people. So we'll be expecting a lot of seva opportunities. We'll be sending messages in our WhatsApp group, email, so that people can take part in seva, in different seva like prasad serving, decorating the Rath Yatra, then arranging the aratis, going there and be volunteer as a security for the Rath. So many things are there. And there's a lot of cut-ups there. We have to cut a lot of vegetables and a lot of planning is there. So as the day passes, will be more planning and we'll be informing the people. Anyone else want to do any seva for the Rath Yatra? Yes, Prabhu, you are just a little bit. Okay. Alright, thank you. So now we'll have prasadam for the devotees. So prasadam will serve from this small room. So you can go about the final darshan of the deities. And if you are coming in the evening, the 4 o'clock, we will have kirtan, and 4:30 we are going to have abhishek. Okay? So please come. Hare Krishna.
Head cook.
Haribo.
Haribo. हमारे प्रभु नाम तो है
गौरांग गिरधारी।
गौरांग गिरधारी। विशेष
बोलो बिहारी हूँ।
क्या
शाम को
केशव
आदि कृष्ण
आदि कृष्ण
हरे कृष्ण राधे राधे
राधे राधे
समोसा बनाने देखा
समोसा समोसा
समोसा बनाने दिखाओ।
बोलो समोसा बना के दिखा रहे हैं। इसको सीखना है, ट्रेनिंग लेना है। फ्री नो कॉस्ट।
हम आलू भाज रहे हैं। ये भी सीखना है।
ये भी ट्रेनिंग
कांटेक्ट सब
कंफर्म को।
अरे पनीर का तो पंगा मत। पकड़ ले लो।
अभी पनीर काटना है तो गौरांग
Hare Shri Ramchandra Bhagavan ki jai. Jai Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for coming for the Ram-navami Mahotsav and Sunday feast. So, Hare Krishna, Jai Shri Ramchandra Bhagavan ki, Jai Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki, Jai Shri Prabhupada ki, Gaura Premanande Hari Hari. So we'll start the Abhishek with all the devotees. So if you are interested to Abhishek, if you are doing Abhishek, please go outside and get your kalash. And you can start now. Okay? Hare Krishna. There will be a small donation of $21. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Dear Prabhu, Haribol, Vaibhav Prabhu Kira. Vaibhav Prabhu, can you please come? Ramachandra Bhagavan ki jai. Sitaram Ram Ram Sitaram Sitaram Ram Sitaram Sitaram Ram Sitaram Ram Sitaram
Sitaram Ram Ram Sitaram Sitaram Ram Ram Sitaram Krishna Krishna Rama Hare Hare. Together, everyone. Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, one more time. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Bolo Ramachandra Bhagavan ki, Ram-navami Mahamahotsav ki. I'm going to request you to again give me a beat. This one. Everybody. Come on. Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram, oh Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram, put your hands together, oh Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai 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 Ram, oh Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram, 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 oh Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram, 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 Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram. A little louder. Bring your hands together. Hands together. Bring your hands together a little louder. Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Oh, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Oh, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Jai Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Oh, Jai Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 Oh, Jai Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Jai Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Oh, Sita Ram, Sita Ram. Oh, Sita Ram, Sita Ram. Sita Ram, Sita Ram. Sita Ram, Sita Ram. Sitaram, Jai Sitaram, Sitaram, Jai Sitaram, Sitaram, Jai Sitaram, Sitaram, Jai Sitaram, Sitaram, Jai Put your hands together a little louder for Lord Ram. A little louder, I can't hear you. Sitaram, Jai Sitaram, Sitaram, Jai Sitaram, Sitaram, Jai Sitaram, Sitaram, Jai Sitaram. Oh, Sitaram, Jai Sitaram, Sitaram, Jai Sitaram. Oh, Sitaram, Sitaram. Oh, Sitaram, Sitaram. Sitaram, Sitaram. Sitaram, Jai Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra. Baladeva Jaya Subhadra. Radha Mohan Jaya Radhe. So, can everyone is seated? Would you like to sit? You're comfortable? Okay, perfect. So we're celebrating the birth of Lord Ram.
I cannot go.
So if you can raise both your hands. Bolo Ramachandra Bhagavan ki. I couldn't hear anything. Bolo Ramachandra Bhagavan ki. So we're celebrating Maryada Purushottam. He is known as someone who has the highest level of morality and ethics. So since our speakers are not here, I'm going to request if Balabhadra Prabhu would like to come and say 5 words, 5 minutes. Who else do we have? Shambhi Hari Prabhu. 5 minutes. Please come. We'll all share and we'll share something very unique about Lord Ram. And we will make sure that we don't repeat. I don't want to bore you to death with having to hear me sing and then me give a class. So we'll share. Okay, Shambhi Hari Prabhu, please come. Come on. Someone help him up, he needs help. So we'll all take 5 minutes. Goparaj Prabhu, please come. He said that he was the least qualified, and I figured that's the best qualification to speak about Lord Ram. Am I correct?
I have no idea what I should speak about. Well, as you all know, Lord Ramchandra is also the expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna, he comes in different forms to attract the conditioned souls back to the spiritual world. And so, Lord Ramachandra is one of his own forms appearing in order to provide us with wonderful leelas. Throughout the life of Lord Ramachandra, you will see an attitude of service. All through his life, from the time he appeared till the time he left, it was all about service. Whether he was serving his guru, who took him away from his father at a very early age to fight demons, or whether it was serving his father when he was told that he needs to leave home and go away for 14 years to Banvas, to the forest. Whether he was serving his mothers, his stepmother, or whether his own mother, it was all about service. He never took anything as negative, because although he was given such a big, I shouldn't say punishment, it wasn't a punishment, but he was told to leave home. But in spite of that, he never held any grudge. He accepted it as a command and undertook it. Then when he was in the forest, he was always in that mood of service. He was serving the monkeys, he was serving Sugriva, who was being tortured, and he was serving, of course, in a way, he was serving his own wife Sita also. So although she was kidnapped, he had to go and rescue her, and Hanumanji. So all through his life, if you see, he was always in the mood of service. The example he set for us, as Svetaswarup Prabhu said, is Maryada Purush. So the example that he set for us is legendary. Even today, in parts of India, everyone wants Ram Rajya back. That was the exemplary ruler, the king, who set such a great example that everyone desires that Ram Rajya should be there today as well. So you can understand how much we can learn from the life of Lord Ramachandra. When he came back from Vanvas and he was enthroned, he became the king. Then even as a service to his own kingship, to his own, the people of his kingdom, he would not even take any kind of criticism, so much so that he also sent his wife away because a washerman had complaints about it. That's how principled Lord Ramachandra was. And so on this day we can take shelter of Lord Ramachandra and seek from him guidance, help, so that we can also lead a life of service, because all of creation is based on service. It doesn't matter with what mode you perform the service, but you're always serving. The whole creation is based on service. So if we are serving in that mode of Lord Ramachandra, then we can purify ourselves through service, and in this lifetime itself achieve the goal of human life, which is to return back home, back to Godhead. So on this day we can take shelter of Lord Ramachandra and adopt this mood that Lord Ramachandra displayed, and in that mood we should serve the Vaishnavas, we should serve everyone around, because that's what it's all about. Human life is all about service. Thank you all so much. Hare Krishna.
I forgot to invite those of you who came for the first time. Raise your hand if you're here for the very first time. Can we have your name?
Manoj Kumar Jha.
And your family is here.
Yes. My son Himanshu.
Himanshu, Manoj Kumar Shah, Himanshu and
My wife Abhiraj Jha. Abhiraj Jha.
Abhiraj. So let's give them a big Bolo Ramachandra Bhagavan ki. Thank you so much for coming. Who else is here for the first time? Yours?
Yeah, my name is Hanuman.
Hanuman! See, we were just chanting Ram and Sita, now Hanuman has appeared also.
My whole family is a Rama Bhakta.
Perfect.
And we are five.
Bolo Ramachandra Bhagavan ki. Maryada Purushottam Ramachandra Bhagavan ki. So please tell us.
My wife
Sudharani. Are you from Ayodhya?
Hyderabad. India.
Hyderabad. And who else is here with you?
My nephew Raghuram.
Raghuram. And just the three of you.
Three of us.
So let's welcome all three of them all the way from Hyderabad. Come on, that, if someone welcomed me like that, I would walk out of the door. Please, let's welcome them properly. Thank you so much for coming. Who else do we have for the first time? Yes.
Sanjay.
Sanjay.
Yes.
And you're here with your family?
Yes. So my daughter Anushka, my son Abhijay, my wife Usha.
Usha, Anushka, and Abhijit.
Abhijay.
Avijay, and your last name was?
Sanjit Singh.
Sanjit Singh.
So we traveling from Pennsylvania to our place, Varun.
Oh, Varun is here. So they're here all the way from Pennsylvania to celebrate the birthday of Lord Ram. Let's welcome them. Come on, a little better for 4 people. Thank you so much. Who else do we have for the very first time? Yes,
Ravi Kiran.
Ram Kiran.
Ravi Kiran.
Ravi Kiran. Are you here with your family?
Yes, my wife Uday Lakshmi and my two sons Devan and Samarth.
Udaya Lakshmi, Devansh and Samarth. So let's welcome all 4 of them. 3 times. Anyone else here for the very first time? I saw a few more hands. Anyone here for the second time? Yes, we have for the second time. And what is your name?
Kushal Karwa.
Kushal
Kushal Karwa.
Karwa. And you're here with
My wife, Ashwini Iyer.
Ashwini and Kushal. Let's give them a big welcome to. So thank you. Anyone else here for the second time? Perfect.
Just one comment.
Yes.
So you were asking about the place. So we are on the place of our Sitaji birthplace. So the Sitaji birthplace took us near Mithila, yeah.
So you're from Mithila.
Yeah, no.
See, you have Ram, you have from Sita Devi's house, from Hanumanji's house. So we have the whole Ramayana. So, I think I'm told they're on their way, they should be here in 5 minutes. So, I'll just share one of my thoughts about Lord Ram. Very fascinating personality. Because, as you know, his life has been nothing but tragedies. Yes or no? He was supposed to be the king, and then what happened? Poor guy got exiled. For how many years? 14. How would you take if someone exiled you for 14 years? You'd be pretty disappointed. Who would be happy to be exiled for 14 years? Who would be unhappy to be exiled for 14 years? Some of you are very afraid what's coming next. So, he takes this beautiful birth in Treta Yuga, and he is showing by very example what an ideal son, what an ideal king, what an ideal human being Lord Ram is. So, he is being banished for 14 years, and then what happens? Anything happen in 14-year exile?
Yeah.
So many tragedies. How did he take it? Good. He took it well, right? See, his whole life. And then when he finally gets his wife back from Lanka, then what happens? They say, how can this king, what a useless king, has no morality and ethics. His wife has been touched by another man, and he is accepting her back as his wife. And poor Ram has to banish his wife to the forest. So first he is countryless, he is kingdomless, then now he is wifeless. What happens when your wife leaves you? You become a vegetable, right? Because you don't know how to cook. You're miserable in the kitchen, you don't know how to do anything, you don't know how to do your laundry. You become completely incapable of functioning. But Lord Ram is showing throughout his whole life this amazing resilience of how a human being should take lessons from every aspect of their lives. And very interestingly, throughout his life, when he comes back, throughout his life, he is being loved and adored by everyone. And why is that? It's because he is following the dharma of the Yuga avatar, and also the most important thing of how to take all the adversities in your life and grow from it. This is the appearance of Lord Ram. And if you notice in his behavior and dealings, it is explained that when you do something for the Lord, he never forgets. Is that correct? Does he forget? You sure? So if you're sure, then you're right. That he never forgets anything you do for him, because he is in the heart of all living beings and he remembers everything that we do for him. So what did all the residents of Ayodhya get? He was banished. They cried for 14 years. Did you know that? In separation, imagine the whole city was sad and were shedding tears of separation for 14 years. So this is how much they loved him. So Lord Ram, of course, all the residents of Ayodhya, they got back Lord Ram. But what about all the monkeys who helped him to build a bridge to get Sita? They didn't get to see Lord Ram after he came back. So what did he do? He came back in his next life to pay the debts after the monkeys. How did he do that? By personally hand-feeding the monkeys as Krishna avatar. So in this way, you can see Lord Ram, his very unique personality, is always making sure that no one is left behind. So this is who Lord Ramchandra Bhagavan is. Our speaker today, Amarendra Prabhu, is here. So I request you to please come up. Let's welcome Amarendra Prabhu. I don't know if he may walk out of the door is open. Please, let's welcome him properly. Can you raise both your hands? 3 times. One more time. Please sit. And his brother Arjun Sakha, right? Am I correct? He's also here.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Vancha kalpatarubhyascha Vaditaram pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Srila Prabhupada ki Hare Krishna. So it's certainly my honor and privilege to be here amidst such wonderful Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. Before I begin, I honestly want to confess that my study of the Ramayana is not so good. So I will try to speak something, and all of you please kindly tolerate me. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 9th canto, Srila Shukdev Goswami briefly speaks about Sri Ramachandra. In the assembly, the main listener of the Srimad Bhagavatam is Maharaj Parikshit, and Maharaj Parikshit has only 7 days. The countdown has begun, and he's into the 4th day out of the 7 days that he has. Shukadev Goswami has 2 options. Either he can profusely, elaborately describe Ram Katha, and Valmiki Muni has written 24,000 Sanskrit verses glorifying Sri Ram. But however, if Shukadev Goswami goes into that route, he has only 3 more days, which means Parikshit Maharaj will never be able to hear Krishna Katha. That Krishna, who as Partha Sarathi drove the chariot for Arjuna, and the son of Arjuna is Abhimanyu, whose son is Maharaj Parikshit. So Krishna actually drove the chariot for Maharaj Parikshit's grandfather. So Parikshit Maharaj wants to know about Krishna also. So what Shukadev Goswami does, he says very beautifully, Tasyanu charitam rajan rishibhihi tattvadarshibhihi shrutam hi bhuri tvaya sitapatir. The glory of Sitapati, Sri Ram. Oh Maharaj Parikshit, you have heard right from childhood. So therefore I will keep it very short. Shukadev Goswami explains that the pastimes of Ram are so enchanting that Maharaj Parikshit you have heard all your life. So I will keep it very brief. And only 2 chapters, 18,000 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam describe Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Nrsimha, Vamana, Parashurama, Rama, Balarama, Buddha, Kalki. But 24,000 describe only Sri Ram by Valmiki Muni. Shukadev Goswami, as he starts speaking, only 2 chapters for Ram Katha. Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he describes that when Krishna was ruling in Dwarka, he would also hear Ram Katha. Ramchandra performed his pastimes in Treta Yuga. Krishna performed his pastimes in Dwapar Yuga. But when Krishna was ruling, he also heard Sri Ram Katha. Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport, what is the benefit of hearing about Sri Ram? What is the benefit? Srila Prabhupada explains that of all the anarthas that we have lust, anger, greed, etc. Kama, seva, Krishna, arpane, krodha, bhakta, dveshi, jane, lobha, sadhu, sange, hari, katha. Narottam Das Thakur has written in Prem Bhakti Chandrika that the different proclivities that we have, the negative vices that we have, we can engage in Krishna's service. But there's one anartha that you can't engage in Krishna's service, and that is envy. If you have greed, you can engage that in Krishna's service by being greedy to hear about Krishna. If someone has anger, they can dovetail that in Krishna's service like Hanuman did by setting the whole of Lanka on fire with anger. But if someone is envious, how can they engage that? Srila Prabhupada says envy must be uprooted right in the root. Now the question is, how do we do that? Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, those who are dear to me, the first quality is Adveshta Sarva Bhutanam. They are never envious. They never compete with anyone. They are happy to see the other person. They want to do good, but they want to see others better than them. That is their pleasure. So how to overcome envy is the question. In the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains, anybody who listens to the pastimes of Sri Ram, they can very easily, just by hearing, you don't have to do anything, just by hearing, just like Ram went into Lanka and destroyed Ravan. and got in prosperity. The katha of Sri Ram is like Ram entering the Lanka of our heart, uprooting the 10-headed Ravana called envy. And the most interesting thing is, Ravana did not even invite Ram. Did he say, Swagatam, Swagatam, Suswagatam, Idam Asanam? I'm not saying the mantra, but please come. Did Ravana say that? He didn't. But Ram is so kind, he went and did the needful. But when we are hearing Ram Katha, we are inviting Ram into the Lanka of our heart. We are telling Ramachandra, you killed Ravan. He disappeared from Lanka, but he appeared in my heart. My Lord, and I'm not able to overcome, because the more I cut the head of envy, another head pops up. I try to identify that I'm envious of this person. I try to do something. By then I realize I'm also envious of that person. And then another head pops up. And the more I try to chop it, another head pops up, like the 10 heads of Ravan. Srila Prabhupada explains in this beautiful purport of the 10th chapter of the 9th canto Srimad Bhagavatam. Anybody who hears to the pastimes of Sri Ram, all sinful reactions and all anarthas headed by envy are uprooted. Isn't that good news? Good news for me at least. Please chant. Charitam Raghunathasya Shatakoti Pravistaram Eka Eka Kshanam Pumsa Mahapatakanashanam. The Acharyas explain that Charitam Raghunathasya Shatakoti Pravistaram. The Ramayana that we have written by Adi Kavi Mahamuni Valmiki Muni is 24,000 verses in Sanskrit. But in Brahmalok, the Ramayana that is present is Shata Koti Pravistaram. Koti means 1 crore. And Shata means 100. So 100 crores, which means unlimited verses. Just like the Lord is unlimited, His glories are unlimited, the verses glorifying the glorious Lord are also unlimited. But what's the benefit for us? Eka Eka Aksharam Pumsam. We may say, well, I have only 24,000, is it a loss? He says, no. 2 syllables are enough. Ra and Ma. If you have these 2 syllables, Mahapatakanashanam, the name of Sri Ram, that's enough. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Eka Eka Aksharam Pumsam Mahapatakanashanam. The greatest calamity is overcome just by individual syllables of the Ramayana. Therefore, some acharyas, they just compose verses with the name of Ram. Ramo Rajamani Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Bhigata Nishacharchamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha Rama Nasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham Rame Chittalaya Sada Bhavatu Me Bho Rama Mamudhara. Even if you don't know the meaning, hair stands on end, is it not? Just by so many repetitions of the name of Sri Ram. One very great saint, Purandara Das in South India, he paraphrases in Kannada what Lord Shiva had written in Sanskrit. He says these 2 syllables, Ra and Ma, are sufficient. You don't need anything else in this world. He says Ra opens the mouth and all the sins from the heart go out. And just so that they don't re-enter, you close it with So Ra, So Ram, all the sins leave and they never re-enter again. But we may have doubt. Maybe I may have opened my mouth a little bit, so they may have re-entered. So we again do it. Ra, maybe something may have entered again. Ra, This is why Kirtaniya Sada Hari, constant chanting. Another Acharya writes, these 2 syllables, Ra and Ma. Oh, just like Krishna and Balaram play on the lap of Mother Yashoda, giving pleasure to Mother Yashoda. Balaram on one lap, Krishna on one lap, and babies are playing, jumping. And Mother Yashoda is enjoying the playing of Krishna and Balaram. The Acharya writes, my tongue has become the lap of Mother Yashoda, where these 2 syllables like baby Krishna and baby Balaram are dancing as I am chanting, giving me pleasure. Another Acharya writes that yes, we know Abhinnatvam Nama-namino, that the holy name of Ram is not different from Ram. But the Acharya says no, there are differences. What is the difference? He says Ram walked on so many stones. How many stones did Sri Ram walk on? Do we have a count? Any calculators? Unlimited. He walked barefoot in the forest of Chitrakoot. How many stones he may have touched with his lotus feet, but how many of them transformed into Ahalya? Only one. One very great commentator, Sri Vaishnava Acharya, commentator to Valmiki Ramayana, he says, Ramchandra stepped on so many rocks, but only one rock cracked and a very beautiful woman came out in the form of Ahalya. How many rocks? One rock. But every stone-like heart on which the lotus feet of the holy name of Ram has stepped, that heart which is like a stone has melted, and the form not of Ahalya but of Bhakti has risen. Ram stepped on so many stones, but only one stone transformed into Ahalya. But every stone-like heart on which the holy name of Ram has stepped by chanting Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, the name of Sri Ram, the stone-like heart has melted, and the Ahalya of Bhakti has risen from every heart which has chanted. So who is better? The holy name of Sri Ram is more merciful. Another Acharya writes, in the Swayamvar, in the marriage ceremony of Sita and Ram, we see something very phenomenal. We see that we know this story, but we will hear it with a twist. That so many kings came in the marriage ceremony of Sita and Ram. I'm saying Sita and Ram because they are the eternal divine couple. But in the Swayamvar ceremony of Mother Sita, so many kings came. And what was the condition? What did they have to do? Just lift up the bow of Lord Brahma, correct? Lord Shiva. Yes. Yeah, you should trust me, but not all the time. Because sometimes there can be a twist. So the condition was, the king who can lift up the bow of Lord Shiva, which was so heavy that 800 Kshatriyas had to lift. And they would lift up one step and they would sweat down the bow and keep it back again. That's how heavy it was. Anybody who could lift this bow can marry Mother Sita. The Acharya writes, why was it so difficult for everyone to lift up that bow? Because that bow represented false ego. Who is the presiding deity of the department of false ego? Lord Shiva. So the bow of Lord Shiva represents false ego. And however strong we may be physically, it's very, very, very difficult to lift up and break our own false ego. And because they couldn't do it, they can't be accepted by Mother Sita, who represents Bhakti. But Sri Ramachandra is teaching, not just lifting up the bow. Anybody who takes shelter of me can even break the bow of false ego, and they are accepted by the goddess of devotion with the garland of service. You've heard the story, but this is the interpretation. How beautiful. Now here's the interesting twist. How many bows did Lord Ram break? As far as the Sita Swayamvar is concerned. Many bows maybe, but as far as Sita Swayamvar, one, which represents false ego. But those devotees who have chanted the name of Sri Ram, every devotee who has chanted the name of Sri Ram has walked the path breaking the bow of his own false ego. Can you get the Lord with pride in your heart? Janmaishwarya Shruta Shribhi Eda Manamada Puman Naivarhati Abhidhatum Vai Tvama Kinchana Gocharam. Queen Kunti says, with pride in the heart you can't get Sri Ram. Not possible. So everyone who's walked the path of getting the lotus feet of Sri Ram has walked the path of humility, tolerance and forgiveness. And how did they get it? How did Valmiki Muni get it? Valmiki Muni was a hunter. He was Ratnakar. He was mercilessly stealing and killing. But what happened to him? He took shelter of the name of Sri Ram. And as a result of which, he couldn't even see Yet krauncha mitunadekam avadhi kama mohita. When the two krauncha pakshis were together and the hunter shot an arrow and killed the male bird in the starting of the Ramayana, the white birds, male and female, when they were united, the male bird was pierced by the arrow and that white bird became red, dripping with blood. And that Valmiki Muni, who previously was the hunter, now cursed the hunter. What brought in this transformation? The chanting of the holy name. So everyone who has chanted the holy name of Ram has broken the bow of his own false ego, which means the name of Ram has broken more bows of Lord Shiva than Ram himself. Because the bow of Sri Lord Shiva is present in our heart and we are not able to lift it. But when the name of Sri Ram is chanted, that bow is broken. And Haridas Thakur is being slammed in 22 marketplaces, 100 whips in each marketplace. And they are whipping him with all anger. And what was his problem? He was chanting the name of Sri Ram. That was his problem. And they were whipping him. And he was bleeding profusely. It was almost like a slaughterhouse where an animal was being pulled mercilessly down the street. The whole road was red by the blood of Haridas Thakur's body. And the only prayer that Haridas Thakur had, my Lord, please forgive them. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, the intensity of Haridas Thakur, of your prayers for their upliftment, was 1,000,000 times higher than the intensity of their whipping you. Please tell me, where is Haridas Thakur getting this mood of compassion? The name of Sri Ram. Anybody who chants the name of Sri Ram breaks the bow of Lord Shiva in his heart. Sri Ramchandra, when he appears in this world, he doesn't come alone. He comes with a very, very beautiful associate of his. And her name is Mother Sita. We are at a junction point where today is Ram-navami. And then the next Navami we will see Sita-navami. And between the two is Hanuman's appearance. Hanuman, even as far as his appearance is concerned, is a tithi where he's bringing Sita and Ram together. Ram on one side and Sita on the other. So one commentator in the Sri Vaishnava line, his name is Vedanta Deshikar. He has commented and said, although the world knows it as Ramayan, for me it is Sitayan. He says, because you cannot get the lotus feet of Ram without taking shelter of Mother Sita. One Rama Bhakta, he came to Vrindavan and he saw everybody chanting the name of Radharani there. So he came back to Ayodhya and he started crying. So the devotees asked him, the Rama Bhaktas asked him, why are you crying? He said, I am crying because in Ayodhya we are chanting the name of Ram and thinking we will get Ram. But actual bhakti is shown in Braja, where they want Krishna but they are chanting the name of Radha. When will that day come? He's saying, when living in Ayodhya we will chant Sita, 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 so that taking shelter of the lotus feet of Mother Sita we can get Sri Ram. How beautiful. And we can see in the Ramayana, if you take shelter of Ram without Mother Sita, what happens? And if you take shelter of Mother Sita, going towards Ram, you can see what happens. See the life of Hanuman. Hanuman was sent by Ram, not seen Mother Sita yet. He's going from the side of Sri Ram. First, Mainak, Simika, Surasa, so many demons, water demons and monsters. And then he had to even slap Lankini after reaching Lanka. So much fighting. He's brahmachari, by the way. Different story. So coming from the side of Sri Ram, Hanuman is going towards Mother Sita, hasn't met Mother Sita, and look how many obstacles. But when he comes from Mother Sita's side, towards Sri Ram, is there Menak? Is there Simhika? Is there Surasa? Oh, there's nothing. Sri Ram is standing there. Somebody with a video call. Somebody's phone. I don't know if it's something urgent. Anybody? Okay. Sometimes you never know. It could be an urgent call. So when Hanuman went from the side of Sri Ram towards Mother Sita, look how many obstacles. But when he came from Mother Sita's side, carrying her ring towards Sri Ram, Ram is waiting with open arms. So the point is, till the time we don't take shelter of the internal potency, He can't get Shaktiman Sri Krishna or Sri Ramachandra. Till the time we don't worship Lakshmi Devi, no question of Narayana. Till the time we don't worship Radharani, no question of Sri Krishna. Srila Prabhupada said, "Oh Radharani, please tell your Krishna something about me. Krishna's not mine. Krishna's your property." So Vedanta Deshikar writes, he says the hero for me, or let's say the heroine for me in the whole story is Mother Sita. What is the position of Mother Sita? Valmiki Muni writes, Mother Sita comes from a background where she was so well taken care, so pampered, that when she would walk, Janak Maharaj had arranged for servants to throw in lotus and rose petals so that every step that she takes is on the soft petal. And still her feet were so soft that the imprint of the lotus petal was found on the sole of her feet. So which was more lotus? The feet or the flower? That is how she was pampered and loved. And as soon as she got married and the exile was announced, Valmiki Muni says, Mother Sita said, "Oh Sri Ram, I will come with you." And Sri Ram said, "What will you do? And why will you want to come?" Mother Sita says, "If I am with you, my Lord, that is heaven for me. And if I am without you, that is hell. So you decide whether I should live in heaven or hell." She said, "I want you to live in heaven." So she said, "Let me come with you." So Sri Ramchandra said, "Yes, I am okay you coming with me, but what are you going to do in the forest? Your body is so sensitive and soft and you're so tender-hearted. I can fight the demons and the ghosts and the wild animals, but what are you going to do?" Mother Sita said, "My service will be to walk in front of you. I will walk in front of you and clear off the stones and the thorns so that, my Lord, when you step, it is a clean path." Vedanta Deshikar writes here in this commentary, did Mother Sita succeed? Her desire was to walk in front of Sri Ram. Walk in front of Sri Ram and clear off the thorns so that he can walk. Who was the biggest thorn at that time? Amarendra? Ravana, that's right. Ravana was the biggest thorn at that time. What did Mother Sita do? She walked ahead of Sri Ram and first went to Lanka to clear off the thorn called Ravana, behind whom Sri Ram came and cleared off everything. How beautiful. This is the position of Mother Sita. Vedanta Deshikar writes in his commentary, the life of Mother Sita is the life of a conditioned soul in this world towards back home, back to God. Mother Sita is not a conditioned soul, but she teaches us. How do we know that? Till the time the living entity is with the Supreme Lord serving, everything is okay. Sita and Ram together in the forest, everything is blissful. As soon as the living entity finds a deer, something apart from the Lord to be very attractive, the golden deer for Mother Sita, the Acharya writes, as soon as the living entity sees something apart from the Supreme Lord to be attractive, that is the root cause of all downfall. It separates the living entity away from the Lord. Mother Sita developed the desire to have the golden deer. Adau Rama tapovanadi gamanam Viritva mrigam kanchanam Vaidehi haranam Jatayu maranam Sugriva sambhashanam Vali nigrahanam Samudra taranam Lankapuri dahanam Paschat Ravana Kumbhakarna hananam Etadhi Ramayanam Eka shloka. The essence of 24,000 verses. Adau Rama tapo vanadi gamanam. Ram went to the forest with Mother Sita, Ritva Mrigam Kanchanam. The kidnapping of Mother Sita takes place because of the golden deer. As a result, Vaidehi Haranam, Ravana came and took Mother Sita away. Jatayu Maranam, Jatayu gave up his life. Sugriva Sambhashanam, Ramchandra had to make friendship and ties with Sugriva. But Sugriva said, I will help, but you have to help me. Vali Nigrahanam, kill my brother first. After that, Samudra Taranam, Sri Ramchandra built the ocean, the bridge over the ocean just out of stones. And after going there was whole destruction. Lanka Puri Dahanam. First, of course, Hanuman started the fireworks first itself. You know. And then Sri Ram did it. Paschad Ravana Kumbhakarna Hananam. After that, Ravana and Kumbhakarna were destroyed. Etathi Ramayana. Vedanta Deshikar says, as soon as the living entity looks away from the Supreme Lord, Mother Sita teaches all of us, you look away from Sri Ram and find any golden deer in this world very attractive, it is going to cause separation from the world. Then what happens? The Ravana called the mind is going to kidnap the soul away and put into the Lanka of this material body. Everyone there? Listening? Am I disturbing you?
Everybody listening.
Are you already in Lanka? The living entity called Mother Sita, not Mother Sita, but in the metaphorical sense, looks away from the Lord, gets attracted to the golden deer. The mind, in the form of Sri Ravana, kidnaps the Sita of the living entity and throws into the Lanka of this material body, where there is only tears and tears and tears, with separation from the Supreme Lord amidst the ocean of material existence. Because there was an ocean that Ravana crossed. Now what happens? In separation from Mother Sita, Ramchandra starts to cry. Hey Sita, ha Sita, ha Sita. Chapter after chapter, Valmiki Muni describes the separation of Sita and Ram. When the living entity is separated from the Supreme Lord, it's not just the living entity who suffers. The Supreme Lord is struggling in separation from the living entity, asking everyone, did you see that living entity? Can you tell me where he is, where she is? And the Supreme Lord sends so many agents, like Jatayu, who end up becoming martyrs trying to save us. From the time we came to Iskcon, or even before we came to Iskcon, think about how many devotees have prayed for us. Think about how many devotees have preached to us. Think about how many devotees have counseled and advised and guided us. They're all like Jatayus. We are separated from our Lord. And the Jatayu of these acharyas are bleeding for us. But still we don't learn. Then what happens? The Supreme Lord Sri Ram finds the Diksha Guru called Hanuman. And what does he tell the Guru? He gives him the holy name in the form of the ring. Sri Ramchandra gave his own ring to Hanuman. Gave his own ring to Hanuman. That represents the Supreme Lord giving his holy name to the pure Vaishnava. And telling the Vaishnava, you go into this material world. Prabhupada said, I didn't want to come. Krishna said, you go. Prabhupada said, I didn't want to come. Krishna said, you go. He said, okay, Krishna, if you want, I will go. Prabhupada is Hanuman. He's like Hanuman for us. Sri Ramachandra sent Prabhupada in the form of Hanuman, who flew across the ocean to come into this material world. He told me to pause it.
Just saying that
What's that?
it's time for the art.
Time for the arati. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't understand. So, I thought 7:15, so I didn't plan that. I'm sorry. So, Srila Prabhupada, like Hanuman, he carried the ring of Sri Ram in the form of the holy name. And against all odds crossed the ocean, coming from Calcutta into the Lanka of this world, setting everything on fire, catching all of us who are like demons and making us God conscious. This is what Prabhupada did. In what way is he different from what Hanuman did? Hanuman set material conceptions on fire. That's what Prabhupada did too. But however, when Hanuman set Lanka on fire, the house of Vibhishan was intact. He didn't set that on fire. So what did Srila Prabhupada do? He burned down the Lanka of materialistic atheistic conceptions, the impersonalistic conceptions. But those who had the God consciousness like Vibhishan, he kept it intact and he just fanned the spark. As a result, we see, as Hanuman got the ring to Mother Sita, Mother Sita did not see Hanuman in the beginning. Hanuman was sitting on the top of the tree. Our acharyas explain, Hanuman was so sensitive. For all the preachers of the Krishna consciousness movement, this is a very interesting lesson. Hanuman could have just gone and jumped in front of Mother Sita and said, "Here I am." But he was so sensitive. He understood the last time Mother Sita was kidnapped, she was cheated by the eye. It was a sadhu, looking like a sadhu, acting like a sadhu, but he was actually Ravan. She was cheated by the eye. She thought it was a sadhu, but it was actually Ravan. So Hanuman thought, if I appear in front of Mother Sita and I say that I am a devotee of Sri Ram, she may or may not believe me. But the process Srila Prabhupada explains of seeing Krishna is not through the eye but through the ear. So Hanuman sat on top of the tree in Sundarkand and starts speaking Ram Katha. And as he starts speaking Ram Katha, Mother Sita is listening. What does this mean, dear devotees? We conditioned souls sitting in the Ashok Vatika of this world, in the Lanka of the material bodies, trapped by Ravana in the form of the mind, away from Sri Ram who is the super soul. When Hanuman in the form of the spiritual master comes and speaks Ram Katha, we hear, and now we are ready to receive that great saint in our life. And when we receive that saint in the form of Mother Sita receiving Hanuman, Hanuman gives the ring of Sri Ram. The Diksha Guru now gives Diksha and gives the holy name, the ring of Sri Ram, to the Sita of the conditioned soul. And then after that it's just a matter of time. That Hanuman has come, very soon Sri Ram is coming. For all the Sita-like conditioned souls who are stuck in the Ashok Vatika of this world, if you are initiated, and you've received the ring of the Supreme Lord by the Hanuman of the Guru Parampara, it's just a matter of time. Sri Ram is coming. It's just a matter of time. After Hanuman came, we see Sri Ramchandra comes in, breaks through the army after building a bridge, sets everything on fire, destroys everything, and rescues Mother Sita. When Sita and Ram meet, it is so fascinating, dear devotees, and we will conclude with that in the interest of time. When Sita and Ram meet, it was a sight to see. It was a sight to see. The demigods were there. The monkeys were there. Think about the monkeys. They had never seen Mother Sita. They were all jumping and seeing, who is that beautiful, wonderful goddess for whom Sri Ram was ready to wage a war and fight single-handedly? Now you can imagine when there's a Abhishek, you can imagine what happens to human beings. Think about monkeys jumping all over the place, millions in counts, jumping over each other, and they all want to have the first sight of Mother Sita. And as Sita and Ram meet, Sri Ramchandra tells Mother Sita, what got us together is your constant, uninterrupted remembrance of me. That is what got you to me. By remembering Sri Ram constantly, the Sita called the conditioned soul can very quickly find the Lord of the eternal Lord of our lives. Sri Ramchandra says, "O Mother Sita," or "O Sita," mother for us, Sita, "O Sri Sita, the way you have burnt in separation from me, I have burnt in separation from you. But however, you burnt 1,000,000 times more than me." Where is the proof? Sri Ramchandra says, when I was burning in separation from you, I had Lakshmana to share my agony with. But O Sita, when you were in Ashok Vatika crying and weeping in separation from me, you had nobody except yourself. There's a saying, grief when shared becomes half. And what was the grief of Mother Sita? She was burning so much in separation. She was praying to the thunderbolt, why don't you strike me? Instead of the thunderbolt of separation from Sri Ram, oh thunderbolt in the sky, you just burn me to ashes. seeing that the leaves of the tree would fall on her. Why? They were the tears of the tree. When Mother Sita would burn in the fire of separation, there used to be honey dripping from the tree. The tears of the tree would extinguish the fire of her separation. Mother Sita had become so thin in separation from Sri Ram, so much so that she was telling the guardian of Ashok Vatika, Trijata, she was saying, I think I should stop remembering Ram. Trijata said, why? Look at this, dear devotees. This is a sweet rasgulla. Please listen to this. It's a beautiful rasgulla. Mother Sita says, oh Trijata, I think I should stop remembering Sri Ram. Trijata, the guardian of Ashok Vatika, said, why do you say that, oh Sita? Sita said, because if I think of Sri Ram, my body becomes like Sri Ram. My complexion changes like Sri Ram. I look like Sri Ram. So when Sri Ram comes here, he will search for me and he will see me, but he will not see me. And that will give him pain. But if I stop remembering him, I will be Sita, and when he comes, he can spot me. Trijata says, no, wrong logic. You should continue to remember Sri Ram. Why? If you remember Sri Ram, your form will become Sri Ram. But don't forget, he's remembering you too. And when he comes, it will be the meeting of Sita and Ram. So this remembrance, intense remembrance of Mother Sita, Sri Ramchandra explains, is the cause of the unity of the living entity with the Supreme Lord, through Hanuman as the messenger. So this Ram-navami, we pray in gratitude, not just to Hanumanji for bringing Sita and Ram together, but to Srila Prabhupada, who woke us up to this new reality of the Ramayana in our life. That how we are all trapped in this material world, and how Hanuman had his tail on fire, Srila Prabhupada had heart attacks. It's the same thing. But he used those heart attacks in the service of the Lord, without complaining. So we pray on Ram-navami to the Hanuman-like Srila Prabhupada, the ring of Sri Ram in the form of the Hare Krishna movement that you have given us. May we value that, and may the Sita of our bhakti meet Sri Ramachandra, our eternal Supreme Lord, very quickly, Srila Prabhupada. May we not misuse and waste this opportunity. May every effort that you took on the Jaladuta give you returns by offering these servants at your lotus feet. Sri Ramachandra Bhagavan ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Premanande. We can see that every time the Ladini Shakti appears, she always appears in inconceivable ways. Mother Sita appears, Tam Bhu Suta Mukti Mudara Hasam, she appears from Mother Earth. And Radharani appears from the lotus. This is the nature of the Ladini Shakti appears. She can.
Thank you, Amarendra Prabhu. So we have the Arati sponsors. I'd like you to please come to perform the Arati. We have Rana Saha family, Adi Krishna Prabhu and family, Sandeep Bharadwaj family, Shyam Hari Prabhu and family, and Dr. Vivek and family. So those of you who are sitting on that side could squeeze to the middle, and those of you who are sitting in the middle can move up to the front. So while the reorganization is going on in this limited space temple, I'll just make a few brief announcements so you could try to pencil those dates in your calendar. So on April 12th, there's going to be a celebration of Vyasa Puja ceremony of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami in the temple room. That's on April 12th. Programs will start at 6 p.m. And is it it too much distractions for the announcements? Yes, are you with me? Yes. Give me a Haribol if you're with me. Haribol! One more time. Haribol! One more time. Haribol! So as you know, another final announcement, that our annual biggest festival, which is the Rath Yatra festival, and we'll request Amarendra Prabhu to tell us more pastimes about the Rath Yatra next week. So we're celebrating this beautiful festival that takes place all over the world, simultaneously in every city, practically speaking. And it's primarily held in Jagannath Puri. So it's one of the biggest occasions that Iskcon ever celebrates. It's when the Lord goes out to the streets and He's placed on a beautiful, massive chariot, and everybody gets an opportunity to pull Him across the streets and pull Him into the hearts of all the residents of Atlanta. Shri Rath Yatra Maha Mahotsav ki Jai! Shri Jagannath Swami ki Jai! So on this day, it is the biggest festival that we have here. We get approximately about 3,000 people who come, and we actually host you, and we feed you 3 big feasts every single day, starting Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So again, on the first weekend of June, we're going to be celebrating this festival. And as you know, hosting 3,000 devotees for 3 days, it's a major opportunity that we have, the local residents here in Atlanta, to host them and facilitate them in the best way possible. There are devotees and senior devotees from Iskcon in different parts of the world who will be coming. His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj has given a verbal confirmation so far, because it is his health that is going to take a priority, but he is in spirit given his word that he will be here for Rath Yatra festival. There are many other senior disciples of Prabhupada who are also planning to come for this festival. And it is an opportunity for us to do lots and lots of seva. Lots of seva. And to put up this festival, as you know, it cost us almost around $55,000 to $60,000. And this is your festival, so I'm just giving you a heads up that today we do not have a lot of time, so I will not give you too many details. There's going to be a lot of dramas, musical performances, and Festival of India, who travel around the United States setting up tents and museums. They will also be here setting up on the property. And it's going to be a major operation. Who has not attended the festival before, raise your hand. Only a few. Who have attended, raise your hand. Fantastic. So, it's going to be bigger than ever, and the reason is because everyone is waiting to see Lord Jagannath in the streets. It's been 2 years. He hasn't gone out for a stroll. And he definitely wants to go out. He's aching to go to the streets of Atlanta. And we have to, as a community, see how we can make this happen. As we know, many people who have hotels, they arrange rooms so people can stay comfortably. And then we have cooks coming in from New York and New Orleans. We will be continuously cooking in batches. A lot of major operation. So I'm going to appeal to all of you before you leave. Please come and see Svetaswarup Prabhu. He will be sitting outside, and see how you would like to participate. Or you can also come and see me. We just wanted to make sure that you are aware that almost 2 months from now, the biggest event for Iskcon is going to be taking place. Shri Jagannath Swami ki Jai! Srila Prabhupada ki Jai! So, I already announced, Vyasa Puja. So I request you to all please stand up, and I'm going to request Amarendra Prabhu to lead an ecstatic kirtan. Rama
Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajaka Ashtavtar Sadashri Srimad His Divine Grace Abhay Chana Ravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajaka Ashtavtar Sadashri Srimad His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki Namacharya Srila Hardas Thakur ki प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की नवदीप मायापुर धाम की मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की द्वारका धाम की अयोध्या धाम की श्री श्री राधा मदन मोहन भगवान की वृंदा देवी की गंगा मई की जय यमुना मई की जय सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय श्री श्री गौरदाय की जय जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा मई की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे all glories to the assembled devotees all glories to the assembled devotees all glories to the assembled devotees all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gaura Padma Mukha Padma Bringa Jai Narsimha Shri Narsimha Jai Shri Narsimha Namaste Narasimhaya Namaste Narsimha Parato Narsimha Toya Toya Mitato Narsimha Toya Toya Mitato Narsimha Hridaye Narsimha Narasimhatim Sharanam Prabhade Narasimhatim Sharanam Prabhade Okara Kamala Varena Saputa Shringa Harita Hiranya Kashipu Anubringa Devinavadrika Harirupa Jagadika Hare Jai Jagadika Hare Jai Jagadika Keshavagita Naraharirupa Jai Jagadika Hare Jai Jagadika Hare Jai Jagadika Hare Keshavagita Naraharirupa Jaya Vikna Vinasha Jaya Narsimha Vikna Vinasha Jaya Narsimha Jaya Narahari Jaya Narahari
So you don't feel alone because you need all the monkeys with you. Come on, Keshav, come on. So this young boy Keshav, he was born in New Panihati Dham in Atlanta. It's been 11 years that he's been celebrating his birthday here on Ram-navami. He was born on this day. So we wanted to make sure that... Is Sophia here too? Sophie? Yes, Sophie, please come. To you, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Keshav and Sophie. Happy birthday to you. Raise your hand. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Okay, thank you. So we also want to make sure they may have a special prayer they want from their lordships. Keshav, what is your prayer? What do you want from Krishna? What do you want to give Krishna?
I want him to bless everyone and blessing to every devotee.
He wants the blessings of all the devotees. Can you guys give him that? Sophie, what would you like from Krishna and the devotees?
To give them a happy birthday.
You want to give them? So she wants to give you a happy birthday. So we can do both of that, right? So we're going to pray to their lordships. Keshav, ready? If you all can raise your hands just a little higher, just a little tiny bit higher. Perfect. Together, 3 times. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One more time. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So thank you so much. Just one more devotee we want to celebrate. We wanted to celebrate the beautiful offering of heart from His Grace Jana Saha Prabhu and his family. Today we were thinking how to do this feast. Because every time there is a festival we have to have a feast. And Rama Saha Prabhu, we asked him, Prabhu, today is Ram-navami. There is a feast. He said, I will sponsor the feast. We didn't tell him how much or what. And he gave her $1,500. I was going to say rupees, too long in India. And he paid to serve all the devotees. So it was so nice when devotees are always seeking to serve other devotees. So let's. Mataji is also here. So let's pray for this beautiful. Mataji, please forgive me, I do not remember your name. Pallavi and Manasa. So let's pray for them as well. I think they want Krishna Prema, so can we give them, pray for Krishna Prema for them? Yes? Together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you all so much for joining us for this celebration. Please don't forget to see Svetaswarup Prabhu on your way out for get more details on the Theatre Festival. And please do not forget this coming Sunday, we're going to have a special series and talking about Panihati Festival and the Rath Yatra Festival. So who would like to hear more nectar for Amarendra Prabhu? That was only like 20%. Who enjoyed the nectar of Ram Katha today? Who would like to hear Jagannath Katha? Who would like to hear Nityananda Katha? So please come next Sunday. We will make sure that you get your full dose of Krishna Katha in your life. So thank you very much. Prashadam is going to be served outside. Prashadam is actually already waiting for you. So please come and have the last darshan of the deities and enjoy your beautiful prashadam.
वो तो ही लेने क्या